you guys. I'm gonna move this down for right now, but today we're gonna do something fun. I have my coaches here, Julie and Asia, with me. We're going to do this fun slideshow of really terrible design. So it's gonna be pretty fun. We have a few different things we're gonna look at. The other thing that we're going to do today is we're going to watercolor with you. So tomorrow is our watercolor foundation for travelers class. We're really excited about it. If you're watching this at a later point, you can still purchase the class. So we're doing it live to begin with, but it's, it'll have a lifetime access on it. So if you're a traveler and you want to understand style, you want to understand what else are we doing, like the best kind of like kits and how to kit together a great travel piece, then that is going to be for you. And then we're also going to go through 10 techniques tomorrow. We're going to do a couple of them here today together. All three of us have our watercolor stuff up, and I think it'll be super fun. It'll also help you see like how all the styling is changed or different, which is pretty cool as well. I am just going to double check because I never know. I just want to make sure that we are in fact live on YouTube and that we're good to go. Yes, we are. Okay, awesome. All right, you guys. So we're going to start with these graphic design crazies, and I'm really excited for Julie and Asia to join me on this. Oh. Yeah, this is where we're starting, and I feel like, Asia, you're the one who submitted this one, right?
I think so. Yes.
That can't be real. That's AI, right?
That is
no.
AI.
I hope it's AI, to be honest. I hope it's not a real thing, because why? Why?
Oh, because I wanted hooves for feet,
I know. I was just going to say, Julie, do you want these?
Oh my gosh. That is so bad.
I need the horse calves. Maybe that's what will make my calves look really muscled.
That's true. That's true.
Because it's like a defined boot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is AI. And you know what? I think the greatest thing about AI is that we haven't really talked about is that people can try weird stuff like this in AI. And now we can all know that this is a bad idea. Like maybe someone would try to go to market with this and they're like going overseas and trying to have these made. Then they bring the samples over and nobody buys them. And then they've lost lots of money. Now we all know that this is not good.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is pretty bad.
I do like, you could have sculpted boots though that showing muscles, almost like superhero boots, then you can add muscle. That might be a thing.
I'm not really on board with that either, Julie, but I love how you were trying to make it.
Maybe if you're doing like a horse costume or something for Halloween.
Even then, yeah, it's just bad all around.
I like how you just took that to Halloween. Yeah, I mean, like if you have to take it to Halloween to justify it.
It's almost like a fuzzy slipper thing in the front. Like if it had fuzz coming out, like I could just see, like horse fuzzy slippers, boots.
Not good.
Yeah. No.
All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Hard pass. What the?
I can't even rate that.
Oh yeah.
That probably should be the first indicator that the design work is bad, right?
Yeah.
So when I pulled this up, I was like, I can't even, my eyes are blinking. I'm seeing spots everywhere. So, we have classes at the university, and this is why right here. Because pink, blue, and green do go together, but clearly not these hues.
Not that saturation and that, yeah.
I don't know what dye tunnel party fears is either.
Yeah, that's kind of scary sounding. That sounds a little questionable.
Like together, because one's talking about Little League and then the other one's talking about dye tunnel party fears. Like,
yeah,
like,
it says Little League up there. You're right.
And is this like something to kind of bring awareness of what I don't know. Like, it's just very weird.
I'm just gonna go off of the fears. This poster makes me afraid.
And this is like font fails, like the all together, like you can't even read
yeah.
anything, you know?
Like font fail, color fail, like information fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
I
don't
mean,
really know what's going on. Like,
I
what
think
it's
we're
for.
surrounded by great design all the time. And so that's why so often when something bad shows up, you're kind of like, whoa, that is really bad. And it's because the whole point of design is that it's easy and invisible, right? And so when it's not, it's very visible. You're like, whoa, this one's my
Oh
favorite.
wow.
Wow, this throwback to the 80s. Let's go.
I know. I was like, did they make this with that paint that Microsoft?
Yeah, totally. And with the what is that papyrus? Like, what is that font that was
Comic
Oh.
Sans. Well, this is not Comic Sans, but it looks like papyrus
It's like
stretched.
a papyrus
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It's like they took a font that's already pretty bad, and then they were like, "How can we make it worse?"
Yeah. And we're gonna add all these effects and shadows and outlines to make it cool.
But
Yeah.
why is it so bad,
What's
really,
with
you
the
guys?
fear?
This is what I want to know. We all know it's bad, but what is it that makes it bad?
There's just too much. It's so cluttered. It's so colorful. It's just like your eye doesn't know where to go on this page. Like it's just wow.
Yeah. It's like new, like in the 80s, it was like all these effects were new. And it was like, oh, let's see what we can do and add all these different things. It was just like this bleh, throwing up of effects. And yeah, we quickly learned that that's not effective.
Yeah, if you get past all of the crazy and you read the message, it makes sense. When
Yeah.
non-designers design stuff, it looks like this.
Yeah.
And it's a great message, right?
You know,
Yeah.
and to be honest, I didn't even read anything and get that
Yeah.
because I was so distracted by all the stuff. And then when you said that, it was like, oh, well, I guess that does make sense, you know? Maybe
So
that's
good. By the way, if you guys are here live, feel free to say hello to us in the chat because we're here for that. All right, here we go. So my favorite comment I saw on this was, why are they so happy?
Yeah.
So
That
the
is an odd message.
yeah,
Yes.
Together. The two together.
whole deal of this in great design work is that everything should match up. So you shouldn't be happy in a suicide
Yeah, that's
bulletin board.
that's I
Because it
was
almost looks like they're cheering that on. Like they're like, yeah. Like, no.
Yeah, no, that's a little cringe. So
It's kind of like, I hate to say this, even though this is an old ad, it feels like AI would create an ad like this, where there's an incongruency in the actual message and the imagery.
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Wow.
All right, here we go. Okay, this one had me dying. I had to read up to understand this better. Whoever designed this, the blue area is the land and the white area is the sea.
Oh, now that you say that, I can see it.
Oh.
But at the time, I thought it was opposite.
Yeah,
going,
no,
"Where
that's bad. Yeah, I was trying to I'm like, I don't know where this is.
Like, I had to like really look at it and be like, oh, there's England up there, and the blue is the England. Oh, that is the land.
Blue is
Yeah, that
And I
is
think this is one of those cases where like a designer thought they were being really creative. Instead, they were like, there's clearly a lot of room for creativity. We have to be creative as designers, but also we have to follow the rules of culture so that people understand things right away. You can't make land blue, at least in Western society, because all of our maps show lakes and oceans in blue.
yeah. Our brain doesn't register. It just is confusing. So
I was so freaking confused because this is actually a really good example. I feel like we should use it in our design foundations class at the university, because I keep inverting back and forth, you know, like the masks that you see that are the faces and the vase, like where you see it back and forth. I keep doing this with this. My negative, like the negative space, I keep jumping back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And our brain is trying to make sense of it, but it's confused. And so that is something, the least thing that we want to do as designers. We want to be able to convey very quickly easily and not confuse our, people when they're trying not to even understand what we're doing.
And
So,
this one
yeah.
I found fascinating because there's really not bad design work. It's bad choices.
Yeah, color choices.
Bad color choices for sure.
Okay, this one.
Oh,
This
dear.
one.
You got to practice where the door opens and see. You're like, that's
Oh.
unfortunate.
I love that Julie just said that.
Oh my gosh. The thing is about designers, like when you're designing something, I actually just got a text from someone who's asking they want to use some of my design work for a banner. And I said, yeah, I can set it up for you. Will you tell me the sizes and where it's going to go? Because like a lot of times we do things in isolation. That's not very smart. We don't ask the right questions. And so then we make the logo or whatever, and we put it on a car and we're like, oh, that was a bad choice.
Yeah. I used to work at a car shop. Like it was a sign shop, and we also did car wraps and stuff. And you had to be careful, even like when the window rolls down, like it did some weird stuff. And you don't think of that until things like
I
that.
think I have some amazing examples of that. Like, I don't know that it's coming up quite yet. I actually pulled this for one of our classes because this is the kind of stuff my daughter, she loves like sending me these because she's in animation. Like, graphic design is my passion, Mom. I mean, she knows how bad it is. Like the clouds in the back, and someone has just thrown, like it's meant to be funny, right?
Yeah.
And they do a good job because it's so bad, it's good,
It like takes me back to when, we were doing computers and building basic websites back in the 90s, like this is the stuff that we
it's kind of stuff we could only do too. It was difficult. It was hard to extract things if you didn't have Photoshop, or Photoshop was even limited back then. It was really, really difficult. Here's another one of these.
Yeah.
Graphic design is my passion.
Oh my
Look
goodness.
at that cute little kitty cat.
Oh, so bad.
Cute.
So cute. So bad.
So bad.
I love like the rainbow behind it. It's like, I have an idea. How do we make this cooler? I will throw a rainbow ombre behind it.
Yeah. And what's hard, like, and it has the Comic Sans, like, little, oh my goodness. Somebody actually, I had to do a logo recently, and they brought in the logo, and I had to recreate this thing, and it was in Comic Sans. It was the awfulest thing. I'm like, oh gosh, are you kidding? So it was the hardest thing. Like, I recreated it. Oh, yeah.
The crazy thing is too, is like someone was asking me like, why is Comic Sans so bad? And I was like, in and of itself, it's actually not a terrible thing. I really think it was the overusage of it that really kind of turned the corner and made people snobby about it. And then furthermore, it's more about like the styling of it, right? And like what it means. So for example, I just used this example. I just taped our entrepreneurial strategy class for the master's degree. And I said, if you saw an Apple thing and they used fully Comic Sans, would you trust Apple anymore? And the answer is no, right? So it's really about the usage of fonts in correlation with the brand to make sure that they match up. And so often people use Comic Sans, and it's like they're trying to convey that there's some high-end car detailing business and they're using Comic Sans. You don't trust that. Those two things don't match up.
Yeah, because it's not a high-end brand font.
No. I have seen sometimes in like with kids printables and stuff, they've used it, and I was like, well, I wouldn't choose it, but at least it seems to fit there better. But yeah, this was like a church logo. Like they were trying to be, and it was just like, no.
I have heard from like teachers' perspective, Comic Sans is easy for kids to read. I've heard that.
It has a decent X height, and like the spacing in it makes a lot of sense. But I honestly think Helvetica is a better one to read. So why not just choose Helvetica? To me, it's like a teacher who's used it, who's like, I have to back this up.
Yeah, it's probably true.
And Like, just use Helvetica. You'll be fine. Helvetica's way easier to read, But maybe it's because they want more of that handwritten font. And I'm like, but why? Why would you want that? You're all handwriting anyway. Let's just use a font that's like, because here's the thing. If you're showing kids Comic Sans and then they start writing like that, is that what you really want? No, show them Helvetica, and then they'll start making their A's like that.
It's true. It's better.
All right. How about this one?
Oh boy. The bubble letters.
I love it.
The drop shadow, right? Like, I think the first thing we teach our students is like no drop shadow, right? And it's so funny. I went out into the real world, like, because when I taught at the University of Minnesota before we owned the University of Arts and Design, like, we would teach no drop shadow. And then what was the first thing I had to do as a creative director? We had a catalog and we had to use drop shadows on the paper so manufacturers knew how to buy it, like, so it didn't look too flat. And I was like, oh, this is an instance where you do have to break the rules. This is not an instance where you can break the rules, right? And so you really do have to understand great graphic design principles in order to break the rules.
Yeah, it's true.
Because this is extra awesome, don't you think? Because it has the bubble letters and it has the drop shadow and it has, it looks like it has an outline as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does. That's like, it's like
every effect.
Yeah.
Well, it's got like even the blur, so it's got like the what is that supposed to be? Like the
is it the blender?
Soft, like a soft. Yeah. So it's like the drop shadow, then the glow. That's what I'm looking for. That glow, and then the outline, and then the bubble letter. All the things.
I think this is interesting, though, don't you think? Because like before graphic design in the late 1980s, 90s, when people started having computers and they had the ability to do this, really commercial artists, which is what we called them before, you didn't have access to it because you had to have a screen printer, you were doing lithography, you had to have a letterpress, you had to have machines to create graphic design, or you were hand illustrating it. So it's just really fascinating that this stuff came about because it's like really the natural effect of owning computers and have anyone having access to programs where they can just do all this weird stuff. I am sure in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, like when any of the big designers, commercial artists were teaching, that they ever had to worry about this.
Yeah, and they obviously didn't have spell check either. So
it's missing an E on all.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that, Julie. I didn't even notice that because I was so enamored.
So bad. Everything else is so bad. They didn't even have spell check.
Okay,
wow.
This one is awesome because this one is more of just like not paying attention to the details.
Do we realize men, boys and girls, like
no lions don't have that mane.
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, there could have been 2 lions on the ark. We just probably wouldn't see lions anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
That was pretty cute. I kind of like this one.
They just
You're not paying attention, you don't notice it.
Oh
this
my, that is so bad.
That is an unfortunate placement. Like
that's really unfortunate.
Don't put that on there on purpose.
They had to put that on purpose. Come on.
You know what it was? It was like the car detailing guy, the guy who was putting it on. Like he was like,
he's like,
his head and centered
it right.
You're never gonna know.
Because everybody wants to grab right there.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's like so terrible. Great. Well, here's this one as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're grabbing right there.
I don't understand how it happened right there. That they weren't like moved it down just a little bit. But even then, probably wouldn't have looked great then either. So maybe some dude was like, well, at least it's hidden in a place that, looks like it.
It's like
I just don't know what the thought process was.
Or the lack thereof. They just didn't. And then
it just Letty's enjoying this.
Yeah. Well, and you have to have like a proof of this. Like when we would do, like you would kind of know, sort of. Maybe they just didn't realize the handle's there.
That's the thing I can't. Well, and especially now in the last 2 years, you can mock up anything.
Yeah.
So did someone they mocked it up and they go, okay, where's the handle? Oh, I have an idea. Let's just put him right there where the handle is.
It's a sensor thing,
It felt intentional. And I can promise you it was not a female who designed it. It was like, I have an idea. I want to grab there every single time to open the door.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Okay,
that is awful.
So you guys, do you know how many times I go to one of those fast fashion websites and this is totally the case? Have you guys looked at them? Like there's some where it's like the leaves are like here, like
the shirt kind. I've never seen that.
That's pretty bad. My cousin, she made a skirt and she's like, I was so proud. It was the first time I sewed a skirt and it had these pretty kind of leaf things and it looked like hands on her bum. Like it was like, she's like, yeah, it looks really great. And she turned around and we're like, oh. That's yeah, no. Yeah,
this one is really unfortunate though. It's like because like the pattern got placed in such a way. I'm hoping this was a mock-up, not a real thing. Like where they put it in and like it just so happened the flamingos ended up in that area because that is so unfortunate.
Yeah. And your eye goes right there.
Oh yeah,
it's like bright pink. You just can't help but look right there.
I know Letty just said, oh no, it just keeps getting worse. Let's go back and replay this. You're all like, oh, this is bad. It's not good. Oh, it's not good. Oh.
Some people would buy those just because of,
I bet there are.
You know what this would be for me? I kind of want to buy them. The best ever white elephant gift.
Oh yeah, and they don't look like it until you put them on.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Well, that's your white elephant gift, and I'd be like, put them on.
Yeah,
go
come on,
on.
Go try them on. We want to see what they look like.
That would be.
You know, I want to see how they are, and they're gonna be like, why? What? Oh, can you imagine their face? Oh my gosh. Okay, this one is awesome because it's like the most amazing pregnancy test ever. Like
she's already pregnant. Obviously, she would know. You don't know. We have to take.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I hope they're not trying to figure out if she's pregnant at this point in time.
Kind of seems like it for this ad, right?
Yeah, I know.
Wow, we're pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
He's so excited about it. He's like, wait, it's confirmed. You're not fat. This is a pregnancy.
So you're pregnant, not fat.
Oh man.
I thought you were just gaining weight this way.
Yeah.
The tagline does say when you want to be sure.
Oh, my daughter's even in the chat. She's like, I don't know how it could get worse than this, honestly. I think she's talking about the other one.
Oh man.
Rolling over in laughter. Oh my gosh, so good. How about this one?
Oh, that's terrible.
Hi, cutie pie. My kiddos are at college.
Is this like an Asian thing? Like they don't know?
No. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is someone who put this logo up. They had a designer do it. And it is wrong. So here's the thing. I literally had to read the comments on this one to figure out what like the actual name is. It's supposed to be Bull Titan US.
Oh, yeah. The spacing's not like, that's weird.
That's bad, right? Like such bad.
Oh,
I mean, just also like Bull Titan US, but like you like the way that the AN is so close to the US that you're like, you get two bad words there. You don't just get one, you get two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
That-
especially on the bottom row, like the bottom one version of it looks worse than the top. Like
Okay, you guys, to make a sign is so expensive. Like to make a sign like the 2 signs, because they have like a mural at the bottom and they have the thing at the top. So who approved this? That's what I want to know. And why wasn't there more people looking at this? Did every single person, was this a case of like peer pressure and everyone's like, yeah, that's great. That's great.
Oh, yeah. They're gonna put that up.
And no one was like, do you not see the words?
Yeah. This has to be like where English isn't their first language or something, I'm thinking.
And they don't.
No, I think it was not. I think it was
Yeah.
just someone who was an idiot. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good point that maybe everybody in the world should take a typography class. Just everyone in the world. It doesn't matter what you're in. If you're going to go into HR, you should still take a typography class so you know that spacing really matters.
Yes.
This one's so good. So clearly whoever like wrote the thing also didn't really understand English. They didn't have an English speaker check it. And so they had to translate it so they could put the sign up, but they just copied and pasted it, could not connect to translators.
Oh, that makes sense. So they were like trying to translate it. It wasn't working. Then just added that word.
And this is what I think is going to happen with AI, you guys. More and more is going to be this kind of stuff where it's like people are going to ask it stuff and they're not paying attention. They'll copy and paste it and put it in. This actually just recently happened, but in a totally different realm, where someone, and I can't remember the exact thing, but they said, I want a top 20 review of like new products. And then they wrote an article that went into their newspaper, and they clearly used an AI generator to build it, and AI made up stuff. So none of these books existed. They were like all made up books with some real authors on it. Like they like mixed it up and mixed names. No one checked it. It went out to like multiple newspapers all over the United States. No one checked it until someone was like, these books don't exist. But it went out to multiple news outlets.
Oh.
And it's like, did no one look at this? I think it's because people make the assumption the first person looked at it, it must be fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how bad information gets disseminated. Okay, this one is fascinating.
Yeah, that one.
What?
Combination of the two. Sorry.
Yeah.
Plus, you're reading it in order. Slow children at play. So I don't like that. That's a little weird. And then hunting with shotgun.
You can't use handguns.
Although, so they're easy targets.
No.
I just the person who was like, I have an idea. I need to put this sign up. Like they're probably looking around. Oh, we're gonna have to put in another metal thing.
Put in another post.
I don't want to do that. Let's just put it on this one.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, that's bad.
That's pretty good. Just like a misstep, you know?
Yeah.
Although I think the slow children at play is actually a terrible sign. Do you guys feel that way? First of all, that kid is running.
It sounds like
it's not very slow.
No, well, it's like fast children at play, or
It doesn't matter. Children at play.
No, are we talking about mental capacity?
Like, what?
Because if the whole point is like, okay, the whole point of having an icon on a sign is understanding the icon without the words, right? Or there's some universal like image that we all understand means this one thing. Like, for example, if we see a toilet icon, we know there's probably a bathroom nearby, right? That's the point. This child icon is, first of all, not universal. Second of all, it looks like they're running away from robbers or something.
Yeah,
and so
it doesn't look like a child.
It looks like someone running from the law. And so it's like, plus you put the hunting with shotgun only underneath of it, and you're kind of like,
yeah,
confusion.
Oh, another spacing issue.
That is one little space, guys.
Wow.
Do you guys know that? That is really unfortunate. Massage the
Yeah.
rapist. I guess if you want to go into that building, you can. That's just like that's the thing about this one that really like has me kind of befuddled. But like I can see why this happened. You can see how this one happened because it's because the R and the A naturally, because of the measurements, got put together, right? So it made those letters seem closer together when they actually probably are not. And then the spacing between the R and the E is just such that it's unfortunate. But it's not a big space.
No, and it's spacing just a little bit. It's like that. That's why you have to kind of check because certain fonts that are lesser quality will have those spacing issues, and you have to kind of make adjustments yourself with some cheaper fonts.
Yeah.
So.
And it could be depending on the font too. If they have a ligature, because some fonts have ligatures like that where they've got the two letters that'll connect, so they just automatically do it. And if you're not paying attention, it'll automatically bring those two letters together in a ligature like this, but then offset the spacing and then cause issues like that too. So
Yeah.
We're going to end on this one. This one I love because, oh my gosh, it was just so unfortunate. So if you read it and you just see the thick letters, you see suit yourself. But if you read it, the water going down, it tells you to basically don't get into this water with this girl.
Oh, that's terrible.
Julie's like, I just saw it.
I know when you see it, you're like, oh, now you can't unsee
And then
it.
you can't unsee it. But you can tell this is like a high-end image or magazine, and you're kind of like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah, well, and they were trying to be fancy and do this little reflection thing of the letters, and yeah.
That one's too bad. That is too bad. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so here's the word on the street. If you want to get good at graphic design, you ought to come to the University of Arts and Design. So Julie and Asia are there with me. University of Arts and Design, if you want to go check it out, it's uad.education. We are licensed only in certain states. So go check out our fact to see if you are a state that can come to our university. We mostly do master's degrees, Masters of Arts in Design Business and Masters of Fine Arts in Digital Design. And we do have a design certificate. Letty just said, what a great way to teach. Thank you. You're so welcome. That was fun for us as well. We'll probably do more of those, especially as we find them. We have a folder. We're just like kind of like gathering up because they're fantastic. So we actually want to spend the second part of today watercoloring with you. How do you guys feel about that? So we actually just got out of a 5-hour virtual conference for Design Suite and the university. We do one every single quarter with them. And the last thing we did was we watercolored. Tomorrow we have a watercolor class happening. It's called Watercolor Foundations for Travelers. So this is a little bit of a niche field. We know that there's lots of great watercolor tutorials out there. There's lots you can learn about watercolor. And today we're just going to watercolor and have a good time with you for a little bit. So if you want to take a second, if you have some watercolors and you want to go grab them and watercolor with us, we're going to show you a couple of simple techniques, and then we're just going to have some fun together. Okay. So the reason we wanted to do this watercolor for travelers class is because I am taking a group of designers to Italy next October. So I don't even know what the dates are. Asia, do you know what the dates are? October 2nd through the 10th, maybe? I can't quite remember. It's a 7-day like situation.
Stick.
Oh, is it later than the 2nd? Maybe it's like the 6th or the 5th. If you want to learn more about it, you just have to go to crafttours.com. We have a fantastic group going. It's so fun. They keep saying that there's 5 spots left, but we happen to know there are people who've purchased since they put that little thing up. So we don't actually know how many spots are left. So if you want to inquire, you just make a phone call and they'll tell you about it. If you go to Craft Tours, click on Italy, you'll find our painting and pattern tour. So we are going to be making pasta. We're going to have wonderful things to eat. We're staying together at an amazing hotel. We have a driver and a bus, like that we're like, all staying together the whole time. So if you've ever wanted to travel with a group of women who are just super creative and having a good time, this is going to be the trip. And so we're really, really excited about everybody going. But because go ahead. You got the
October 5th through the 12th.
Thank you. 5th through the 12th. So I think that it's going to be an amazing trip. But in preparation for the trip, I wanted to make sure that everybody who was coming on the trip had a really great watercolor set, that it was travel ready so that we could be painting on the go. We're also going to be doing a lot of patterns, which we're going to talk about for the members who are coming, so that we have a pattern sketchbook. And so it's meant to be a really creative experience. So because of that, tomorrow I'm doing this watercolor foundations for travelers class. You can get this class by going to designsuitecourses.com/watercolor. I believe there's a discount right now. If you're watching this later, it still will be available. All right, I'm going to pull up what we're going to be working on today. Well, actually, I'm going to pull everybody's, you're getting my stuff here. Wait, Julie or Asia, one of yours I'm missing. Let's see. Asia's going to pull hers on. And then
phone died.
Your phone died. Let's see. Here we go. All right. You've got my little bit of a mess here because I'm going to pull it up. You can see I'm actually working in travel size. This is a 6x4. We're not going to go over all the travel things today because that's what we're doing in our class tomorrow. However, we are going to just talk about a couple of techniques. So this class has a huge workbook with it that tells you all the things that you might need, really some awesome tools you might want. I personally, if you're getting started here, I like some kind of travel watercolor set, although you don't even need a travel watercolor set. You can build something, and I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. You're probably going to want some kind of set of watercolor brushes. I personally usually only bring 3. I'll tell you which 3 I bring. I usually bring about these 3 because I'm working on this smaller pad. And then I always like having a pencil, and I like some kind of pen. So I do have a micron pen. People love those. A Sharpie pen's great. But I will admit I personally like one of these Pilot pens. So that's generally what I like to use. In the workbook, you're going to see 10 techniques that we're going to go over in class tomorrow. So if you join the class, you'll see some of those techniques. We did one of these techniques with Design Suite today. So we're going to start out with that and we'll probably let it dry, Asia and Julie. But what we're going to do is we're going to do I have to go look at my notes, a gradient wash. All right, you guys. So gradient wash. Now, the key with a gradient wash is it actually needs to be on a pretty high angle. So you can't just be flat. You have to actually kind of have it on an angle. Before I was using tape to stack it like this, but truthfully, I had to hold it while I did it to make sure it worked. Okay. So let me just show you, Julie, what are you stacking yours with?
It's a wrist holder thing for a keyboard. So it's just a little...
I've got my camera or my phone.
There you go. Asia, are you using anything to hold it up?
It's just a thing of lip stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just put it behind.
We're all working very, very small, right? So if we're working really small, it's so nice because we can just lift it up. The better you lift it up, the better you're going to get a more flat look. Okay. So, in watercolor, a lot of times we're really excited about those happy accidents. The technique I'm going to show you right now, not about happy accidents. This is about making a really clean wash. Okay. So you're going to fill your brush with water. I'm using kind of a thicker brush. I'm going to pull mine onto the main screen so you can kind of see it. And then we'll look at Asia and Julie. So I'm holding mine up right now so I can control it because it's quite small. I'm just putting water on this. I'm going to choose, let's do going to do this like green color here. And I'm going to load up my brush. Okay. So you'll see, because I have a white brush here, like I really loaded that up. Okay. I'm going to kind of drop it over here on the side and add more water to it. I'm going to pull this in so you guys can see it. So I'm kind of adding a lot here so that I can work from it. Sometimes when I did this earlier when I was doing this with Design Suite and the university, but like I didn't get quite the best gradient. And I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit. And it's because I wasn't loading the brush enough. Okay. All right. So I've got it at an angle and I've got kind of a lot of water and I've got a good amount of pigment, and we're going to start at the top. Okay. Now, as I'm painting it across, okay, if there is a lot of water and a lot of pigment on this, you'll notice that there should be a bead at the bottom here. See how that's what that angled paper is trying to do for you. Okay. As you are doing it, you're going to come down and keep going across. Now, we want more ink at the top. So if you need more ink or more pigment, then you can bring that in because you want that gradient to feel like it makes sense, right? So we want most of the ink at the top as we pull down. And as you have that angle, because notice I'm pulling it up to get that angle, you'll see all of the ink drop to the bottom, that bead right there, okay? We're going to continue to add paint to this as we go. And we want to add water to this to create that gradient, okay? So as we go down, we want it to be more watered down to create that gradient. Now you'll see mine right here. You can see the gradient's really, really light. If you want it to be light like this, just keep adding water as you go. And don't worry about adding more ink. If you feel like yours is not inky enough, you might need to add a little bit more ink from the top. But you can see here from mine, it gets very watery down here and you get a really clean gradient as you go down. You want it to feel very flat, you guys. Okay, you want it to feel very flat. If you need more, you can kind of put a little more ink at the top, but really I like this gradient. Now, what about this bead that's been created at the bottom, this down here? Now, this looks a little weird, and so you want to get rid of it. So the way to do that is you're just going to dry off your brush, or you can get a nice clean brush, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just wetting it to get it out and get it nice and dry. I'm going to use this brush to pick up the water, okay? I'm just picking up the water off the bottom here, and it should keep that gradient nice and clean. Now you could use, this is called lifting. You could use a sponge, you could use some other things, but I sometimes think it makes the results not so great. Instead, I really want that long gradient there, and that's what I'm trying to pull up. All right, so that's how mine turned out. Let's take a look at Asia's. You can see her, she's still working hers down. So notice she has some bumps in the middle. That's pretty. And if that's what you're looking for, you can keep it. If you're trying to make a really flat wash, more water. Yes. So you see how Asia is adding more water to it? That really helps it. Okay. Let's take a look at Julie's. Julie did a little more transparent and lighter. That looks really good, Julie. Same thing, you guys, right? If you want the gradient to be nice and clean, you might want to add more water into the middle, Julie, to even it out. Okay, can you see the difference between Julie's and mine? So you can't really almost see until it starts drying, because you can see here, like where it kind of gradates down. And that's what you want. And then you'll let it dry. Now in Design Suite today, when we were doing the virtual conference, we let this dry and then we started painting on top. And we were talking about this because I was kind of laughing because I was like, what, like, how do we make everything dry faster? And like Julie's like, should I turn off my sound and blow dry it? Which is an actual technique that people use that will sometimes ruin your paper. Asia, you said you had something as well, right?
Yeah, I have like a craft dryer that's basically the same thing.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that today, but if you want things to go faster and you are impatient, you can use that. Now, if you're traveling, clearly you're not going to have well, I mean, I guess you would have a blow dryer with you, but you're probably not going to have one on the road with you. Like for us, we're spending a lot of time in the Tuscany and Chianti regions. So we're going to be on the go. We're going to be in these gorgeous vineyards, we're going to be pasta making. And I just think wherever we're at, we're going to want to catch the ambiance of whatever it is we're doing. All right, these look great, you guys. Okay, and we're kind of drying out. Okay, so I thought it would be fun. Tomorrow, we're going to do a couple of landscape type things just to get people situated. But I also like individual objects as we're kind of working on things. Okay, so you can see all of my pitter patters here. This book of mine is like I keep all my stuff in. So, I was going to show you guys the gradient I did earlier. So this is the one I did. And you can see the gradient is pretty clean, but there's quite a drop off with ink, which is not a bad thing. It's just a choice that ends up getting made as you're kind of flat drying it. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about, I was like, oh, should we do some of these techniques? I was like, that one's messy. Let's not do that one. So we're going to do easy ones. A really easy one is wet on wet. So wet on wet is really, really simple. And I'm going to turn my stuff horizontal because I think we'll do kind of a landscape look. We'll do a wet on wet and then we'll do a little bit of lifting. Tomorrow in the class, I'll go through several different lifting techniques. But what you're going to do is you're going to really load up your paintbrush with water. And then you are going to put that nice clean water right up on the paper so it's nice on wet. And then we're going to add wet paint to it, aka wet on wet. Okay. So I'm just going to use that same color because it's available to me. And I'm just going to add more paint in. Now, the nice thing about wet on wet is that the water tends to make a nice, even watercolor, but also if you want there to be some variations in it, depending on how deep your pigment is. And let me just show you guys this. So I've been using this over here, but if I'm like, ooh, I want some like strands of something, I can use this dye to come in and give myself some more dimension and depth. And I can change the way that I'm working on it. So even with wet on wet, like you can use it to create some really interesting forms and what Bob Ross would call some happy little accidents. Because what will happen is you'll see I'm getting all kinds of incredibly interesting forms here as I'm painting. And if you want to smooth some of them in, you can, right? Depends on kind of what you're looking for. This is extremely wet though. So that means that I want to leave it out to dry for a little bit. Now, here's the cool thing. Are you guys looking at this? I really haven't done that much, but like in some ways I've already captured like some kind of grassy situation, right? So I'm going to finish that. I'm going to pull the rest of this down and then let's see what Julie and Asia are doing. So Asia.
I just kind of been playing around. I haven't really done like anything specific, but it's kind of fun to see how the colors will bleed. So this was like a lighter green and then this blue is kind of bleeding into it.
I love that. And I also think, don't you think it's great, Asia, especially before you go on a trip, to play with your paints? Like I like to play with my paints and my brushes because I never know what I like the best until I've done that. And then I go on the trip and then I'm grumpy because I brought the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to just play sometimes and see how the paints interact with each other. And then it also helps you know how much water you need on your brush because sometimes things will like dry out before you can get to it because you didn't put enough water. And then it doesn't do this type of a, look that we've got going on here, like something a little bit different. So I'm
just going to pull on Julie so you can kind of see what she's doing. So she's using wet on wet, and then it looks like you're dabbing in more ink, Julie.
Yeah, I'm just kind of playing and seeing how the ink kind of comes in and pretty like deeper pigment in there with the wet on wet, which is kind of fun.
Super fun. It looks really great. I've just kind of been messing around as well. You can see I'm just kind of like laying on the paint kind of thick. So sometimes I get asked, what's the difference between gouache and watercolor? So watercolor is a transparent paint, and gouache is opaque. That's the main difference. A lot of times they have a lot of the same qualities, but when I paint gouache on, it will come on very, very thick because it's very opaque. And because of that, when you paint on top of it, it actually works really nicely because you can paint really nice, deep things. And then you can layer on top of it more things, almost like acrylics. Okay. It kind of works a little like acrylics in that way, but it's got more of a watercolor feel to it. Whereas this is transparent. And so one of the issues with it is it's super duper transparent. And so when I go to paint on top of it, that transparency of the paint is going to show all of this coming through, which is why I really recommend when you travel, you always travel with a pencil and you draw out your stuff first. Since we were just kind of doing techniques, that's no big deal, kind of showing you that. But what I think would be great is for you to have a pencil and you can hand draw out and then paint around those things. Okay. So good. We don't have very much time left. Where did all the time go? I think we were busy laughing. Look at Asia doing some fun flowers here. So we kind of did a fun vase in Design Suite. And so what I thought we would do is instead of doing it, we were waiting for our gradient wash to dry. We're not going to do that right now. Instead, we're all going to use a pencil and we're going to just flip over our page. This is the other reason I love travel is because I like having a pad that I can see after my travels are done and I can see all the awesome things I've already drawn and made. But we're going to do, once again, we'll probably do a pot, or we could do a tree. I want to do something with flowers. What do you guys think? Maybe not a pot, but just something floral. So you can use your pencil to do this. Or if you want to freehand it, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. I can freehand it and I'll start with all the blooms and then I'll bring in the leaves after the fact. So do you guys want to follow me on this one or do you guys just want to go crazy yourself?
I'll follow whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to choose a little bit smaller of a brush, okay? And I'm going to do a floral. So let's do, I have this poppy red color here that I'm just going to pull over here on the side. And what I'm going to do is, this is why I love watercolors. It's all about almost the impression of the flower. Like not every single little thing has to look perfect. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to create these petals of this flower, almost like a regular, like 5-piece flower like this. And we're going to just create a bouquet from it. So you'll notice a lot of it is created by the brush that I am using. Okay. So if you're like, wait, mine doesn't look exactly like that. It's because of the brush I'm using. So whatever brush you're using should determine the way that your flower looks. Okay. Because notice I'm like, in a lot of ways, I'm just like pushing down and letting the petals be made by the way that your brush is building it. And this is part of the reason when I travel, and you'll see in a lot of travel kits, there's something like this. There's nothing wrong with these. They're just not my favorite, okay? And I'll use them a little bit, but I usually don't put water in them. Instead, I usually bring 2 or 3 brushes that I love, okay? So we'll go over tomorrow in the watercolor class if you're joining with us, or even if you got the lifetime access and purchased it, you will see that like there are lots of ways to do it, but just doing the regular travel kit is usually not enough. Like I recommend a lot of other things to make sure you are successful. All right, I've got some petals here. How's it going for you guys?
Good.
That looks great. Asia's leaving quite a bit of white in hers. I like that. Looks great. Julie?
I'm just playing around with petals.
I am like a big believer, and we're definitely like this at the university and in Design Suite, that curiosity and play is better than trying to make this perfect. If your watercolor is incredibly perfect the first time you do it, then why would you keep doing it? So play and have fun with this. All right, can you guys kind of see? I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer so you guys can see it closer. So I've just kind of built all of these little flowers out. Once you're done building your flowers, and let your brush be your guide on that, then I'm going to bring in some stems, like almost like a little bouquet, and maybe with a bow. And because of that, I'm using this brush right now, which is just a little thick for it. It was really good for the petals. But what I'm going to do is bring in a really, really skinny brush. Now, some of my brushes are freaking expensive, and some of my brushes are this cheap, like crazy crap, brushes that you get from, a local craft store. This is one of those brushes, and I actually love it. So don't let price deter you from getting into something like watercolor. I would really recommend that you just get the tools you need and then just get going. Okay. So, because this is a cheap little brush, and it's one of my favorites. Okay, I'm going to do some mixing here. I have some teal, and I have some of this sage green, and I'm just going to kind of mix them together so I get a lighter green from it. And then I'm just going to kind of pull this with some water to get those stems.
Oh, that's good.
Right? And I actually want to put a fun little bow in here. And I am going to I was like, maybe I'll do it in the green, but I think I'm not going to. I think I'm going to do it in this yellow. I haven't used this yellow yet in this kit, so I actually have no idea how good it is. But I'm going to create a little bow. Just going to create a little center right here. And just going to create a little bow.
I don't know if there's like some scratchy feedback, if everybody else is hearing that.
I wonder if that's coming from my phone.
It could be coming from mine because I have to have it unplugged. So
I know. I was going to say, I can't hear it from your guys's.
like my volume's all the way down, but you know how you can't turn the volume all the way down?
Yes. Yeah. That's mine too. I need to keep a pair of whatchamacallits, earphones just here in the barn. All right, so I got this cute little bow. I'm gonna rinse out.
Cute.
Just gonna rinse that out, and I'm gonna finish the stems up. Okay, so just kind of bring them all in. Okay, kind of fun, right? And then the last thing we're going to do is add a few leaves to this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use this little brush for gold and put centers on the middle of mine. I don't know what you guys are doing with yours, but I'm just going to add a little quick center because we're kind of almost out of time here. Pretty cute. And then some leaves. While I switch my brushes, I'm going to let you guys see what everyone else is working on. Julie, how cute is that?
I started over because I didn't like my other one.
Isn't that great that you can do so?
I know.
Asia, it's so funny because your styling, it looks like you.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
Super duper cute. I like her, like her openings of, white that she has used here. It looks really great. All right, I'm just going to finish mine off here with some leaves. And I'm going to, once again, I've only used 2 brushes for this. Okay. This thicker brush and that skinny brush. And I'm going to use the leaf, the shape of the brush itself to control what this leaf ends up looking like. I love watercolor. I think it's by far my favorite medium, like in terms of like painting. I did a watercolor class when I was working on my minor on my doctorate, and I just really loved it.
I liked watercolor. It's very relaxing sometimes.
When you're trying to not be a perfectionist about it.
Yes.
That's the hardest part, right?
Yes. So like this big fat stem that I have right here, I'm like trying not to look at it.
Let's look at it. I like it.
This one.
It doesn't bother me.
A little fat.
It doesn't bother me. I like it. So you can see that we're like kind of all working on the same thing, but look at the styling. It's just based on who we are. The styling is a little different. I'm going to be done with mine here. I think one of the keys with watercolor is also to know when to stop. Just
true.
Some point, just be like, stop. That is like so cute. By the way, if you're in my design program, this is what we call the perfect print cut, because you can just scan that in and get a die line on it and sell it as an SVG file, which is pretty incredible. So, all right, let's look at what everyone else is working on. Asia's got these cute little flowers with her butterfly. Julie started. Oh, I like the styling on that, Julie.
I was thinking pointy flowers, but I'm not sure.
Like a little poinsettia style. Yeah, I think it's just fun, right? So go ahead, Julie.
Oh no, I'm done.
Julie's like, I'm gonna work on my project now. Okay? All right. I just want to say we're really excited for those of you who are going to be joining us in the watercolor class. We're going to teach you some more techniques. You're going to see some of these ladies come on and show you some of the things they're working on. And we're really excited to help you travel and really make something beautiful for yourselves. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited for those of you coming to watercolor class. And I should actually say tomorrow is MCM challenge as well. So the Marketing for Creatives challenge is at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you want to know more about it, you can go to designsuitecourses.com/MCM. It's $1 a day, AKA $3. And we just do this fun challenge in a community. It's incredibly fun. So really excited for those of you joining us for that. So we will see you guys all very soon. As always, make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and would you do me a favor and like this video? It really helps us, especially as we want to do more videos for you guys. So always tell us in the chat what you're looking for. We would love to do more videos for you, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.